Thanks, Lee. Do you need anything else? No, I got my spaces. Yeah, for those of you online, we'll just start up in a few minutes here, just allow everyone to get walked in here and signed on. And yeah, we'll be going over listing presentations in Command today. So it will be more workshop-y than the rest of the classes that we typically have. We'll actually go through each page of the listing presentation and we can fill that out together. But I'll go over all the, tips and tricks of the design section in general as well. Ice skating? Yeah, that was really fun. We went ice skating for Leah's birthday because she figure skated her whole life. So she's like super good at ice skating, like to the extent that she skated at SeaWorld and everything. Yeah, she's very good. So her husband surprised her with a surprise party at the ice rink with all her friends there and everything. So we all got to skate with her, and including her, gosh, she's just over 1, and we put her in skates and yeah, right? Like she was doing great and she loved it, like smiled the whole time and cried her head off when we had to take her off. Like, so she is a skater in the making. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, right? It's not soft to fall. Right. Right. Yeah, it definitely uses muscles that you're not used to using every day, and then you're really sore the next day. I can put this on. Oh, were you really? No way. That's on my bucket list right there. Rocket Stone. Right. Bucket list. One day. Probably even more so for Leah. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And for those of you online, if you cannot see my screen or hear me, I'll put this in the chat in case you can't hear me as well. But just let me know. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started today with some listing presentations. And actually to get started, I just want to take us to the KWB resources website. So our internal website for KWB. To introduce myself, I am Jules. I am the MCTT here at KWB. So I can help with all your technology needs, implementing your KW technology. We also do marketing, but we can really help implement your technology in the best way to help your business. And if you ever need to make an appointment with us, a one-on-one, you can go to kwbresources.com and click I need tech help in the top right corner. And that will bring you right to our Calendly so you can book an appointment with us when that works best for you. But highly recommend if you have not already so that we can start implementing your technology together. So you're not alone through this all. For today, we're going to be really focusing in Command in that design section. So let's go ahead and go to agent.kw.com. And if you haven't bookmarked this page, I would recommend doing so. This is your agent. This is where you're going to be working the most, is right in Command. And again, that's agent.kw.com. And we can sign in here with our KW credentials. Now, before we jump into the design section, I always like to start class checking on our marketing profile. And to do so, we're going to click on our name in the top right corner. And I'm going to hide this. There we go. All right. We're going to click on our name or profile picture in the top right corner, and then we're going to go down to settings. So our name in the top right, and then go to settings. Then you'll find connect settings on the left-hand side and marketing profile. Now, the reason I like to start every class with this is because this is where all your information from Command is pulling from. So there's kind of a few spots that your contact information is displaying in general. If you ever get a new phone number, a new headshot, anything like that, you can contact support. There it is. support@scottleroymarketing.com. Anytime that you change your contact information, and they can change it all throughout the KW technology. But if you remember one place at all, this is the one place I'd remember to be sure that you're changing that, because this is, again, is where all your information from Command is pulling. Anything that you change here is very straightforward. Again, it's just your contact info, but anything you're changing here, just be sure to scroll to the very bottom to click save. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump right into the listing presentation. And we're going to go to the design section for this. And as we're learning this menu on the left-hand side here, we can click the KW in the top left to expand that out so we can actually see what these icons mean. And so you can learn them a little better. But for today, we're going to go to that design section, which is that paintbrush icon on the left-hand toolbar. Now, when you go to designs, it may look very different than this page. These are all my current designs that I'm working on. But we can access more templates from Command by clicking Create Design in the top right corner. And this is a listing presentation, so we'll want to do the print option here. So Create Design, top right corner, print, and then click Next. And if I lose you at any point, just let me know. I can always go back. Now you'll find that KW Commands design section has quite a few templates. So this left-hand toolbar, you'll see tons of different categories that you can be looking through for not just print materials like flyers and door hangers, but they also have things like social media posts and postcards and things like that. So this design section, by clicking Create Design in the top right and then clicking Print, that will bring you to all the kinds of templates, including the listing presentation that we'll be focusing on today. On the team side. Okay, let's try one more time. Switch to professional. Let's see if this makes any difference. Okay. It was because the team profile, they've made a recent update to allow that to be teamified like design so that you can share between teams. But things like that have kind of been like a learning process. So are you on a team by chance? Okay, well then never mind. That's not the I thought that was the answer. Wow. Okay. Let's try one more time from Command. Let me see. Can we try this in an incognito? Yeah, so there's a couple ways you can find those. So, depending on, this is by category or like topic. And then if you click on any of them, you'll see what kinds of exactly. Or you could use that search bar to search for door hanger or like a specific kind. Fingers crossed. Yeah. All right, it's the fingers crossing. So if you're having like an error at any time, maybe refreshing, trying that in an incognito window might help. And if you need to know how to like open an incognito window, In any browser, going to the more options in the top right, you'll find, well, new window, but not incognito. You might find a private window in that more options or incognito. And those are great just because it clears your cache and your cookies. So it's not saving anything that you've previously done on your computer. So everyone's in the design section now though. Good, yeah, no. Oh, no worries. We are in the design section and I can just bring you right there. Don't mind. Just let me know if you get a error. All righty, before we open up that listing presentation template, I'm actually going to bring you to assets near the top of the page. So assets near the top of the page. Now, assets is a place, and this nice pop-up walks you right through it if you want to go through it. But it's essentially where you can collect things that you'll be regularly using in your designs. So for example, you can add, so on the left-hand side, you can add your color palettes for your branding or your fonts if you have any. Under images, like I added my headshot, and that should be there for you. It should be pulling from your marketing profile if you had that initially. But if you do not see your headshot here, we can also click upload image in the top right corner so that you can upload your headshot right to this section so that we can easily grab it when we're doing our listing presentation. Under text, I may recommend adding things like your phone number, your website, and your email address. Also, your bio from your marketing profile might be something that you can be using in your listing presentations. Something else I might add, so we can click add text in the top right corner to add anything extra. But we can also add, from various things. I think I'm going to add the designation. So I can easily put that in there. So if you're if you're licensed both in NC and SC. Put that in there. And click save. Something else I might recommend adding, especially for the listing presentation, is the market center address. I see that comes up like 3 times in the presentation, so this might make it a little easier for you. So I'm just going to do add text and do other so I can label that myself. I'm going to do market center address. And go ahead and put that in. And I'll show you exactly where you can pull this stuff from, but this makes it really easy when you work in the presentation. Save. One extra thing I'd recommend adding, and I'm going to actually do this in an extra tab here. So go ahead and open a new tab if you would like and go back to command. I didn't want to lose my spot there in the assets section, but I can open a new tab and go to agent.kw.com. Then that last icon on the left-hand toolbar for the consumer section, if you need to grab your website address, if you're not sure what that is, that should display right on the top of the page here so that you can copy that and add it to your assets if you would like. To take it a step further, if you go under site and app settings and URLs, so I'm consumer, site and app settings in the top right, then URLs. This is where your app link is sitting, your shareable branded app link. So this would be something I'd recommend adding to your assets. So let's go ahead and copy that. Come back to our text assets. Add text. I'm just going to scroll down to other so I can enter in that label as app. And then go ahead and paste that in. And click save. Any questions on that, or did I lose anyone on the way? All right, awesome. Last one though, logos. You know, if you have a team logo, you can upload that logo here. It should be pulling a logo from your marketing profile. Yes. So do you guys see a logo there? Awesome. If not, again, you can click upload logo in the top right and upload a logo right there. So yeah, like for this exactly, since it will be printed out, it's not hyperlinkable. Yeah. So with these designs in general, I don't think there's actually a place to hyperlink in these templates, because even if you do it on social media, for example, you're always exporting that like as a picture image or something like that. So hyperlink, it won't matter for this. Correct. Yeah, even in a PowerPoint like presentation, like there, yeah, you can hyperlink. Yes, just for printing. Good question. All right, now that we've got some things added to the assets section here, I'm going to go back over to templates to find our listing presentation template. Now, I would recommend, taking a look through all these categories. They really do have cool stuff in here. And really for like, if you're ever like, I just really don't know what I should be posting or making flyers about, they really give you great ideas even to replicate. So I would recommend looking through all this. Where we're going to be focusing today, of course, is that listing presentation. So you can find that under the listings category and then listing presentation. They have 5 options here. They're all going to have the same content, just a different look. So really, you're just going to decide here what speaks most to you and your branding, what looks the best to you. I'm going to just do this first one here as an example. Feel free to pick whichever. They should have the same pages from what I've seen. So we can click use to start editing this. Now, the great thing about these presentations, a lot of these pages can stay the same. There's just a few pages like the listing itself and the comparative properties, things like that, that will change. So, as we are going through this today, once we kind of set this up, like most of the pages, like with the evergreen content, like your information and stuff, we can make copies of that in the future, so we don't have to repeat this process. So doing this today together is really great, because then you can make a copy of this, what we're doing today, for all future use in your business. So I am going to start with page 1 here. So on the bottom right, you'll see that there are 29 lovely pages to be going through. And that's how we're going to be navigating through these pages, is by clicking that pages button in the bottom right, so that we can see all of those. Now, starting with page 1, and these are some tricks that will work all throughout your presentation. Let's start with a text box. So when utilizing a text box through the design section, clicking on the text box once will allow you to change things like the font, the size of that font, the format of it. You can even change what color that is. That's the stroke color right there at the very end. So clicking on it once will allow you to change the formatting of that text box. Double clicking on it will allow you to change what's actually in there, so that we can remove like template, for example. Now I'm going to be very much editing this template the way it kind of wants us to edit, without like adding anything at the beginning here. But at the end, I'll go through some like little workarounds and tricks, like to add your headshot here, for example. But next, I'm just going to move down to page 2. Now, page 2 is just an instruction page for you. It's just walking you through how you can be editing it. So we really don't need this page, which is a great time to show you how to delete a page. So any pages that you do not want in your listing presentation, you can hover over that page on the right-hand side, and those 3 dots will appear. Clicking on it, you'll see you can duplicate it, but we want to just purely delete it in this case. And click yes. All right, now we can start editing page 2. Now there are, let's see, less than 10 pages throughout this entire presentation that you actually have to change. Most of it really is filled out for you. You can, of course, change it based off your business and how you actually run it. But for the most part, the content's there, which is really great. But starting with this second page here, I'm going to change the client name first. So again, same steps here. Let's click on it once. We can change the formatting. Double clicking on it will allow you to actually change what's in it. Now, I don't know if anyone noticed, but this is actually brand new. This like top toolbar is a really new update as of this week. And there's even now a typewriter icon. I've been playing around with it a little bit and I kind of like it just because it's a little bit more user friendly to me to change the text than like double clicking in there. So if I use typewriter and I put, the client name in there and click save changes, right, that just changed the text right there. I think that's a nice user friendly way to change text, but again, double clicking on it will do the same thing. You can change the text that way. Next, let's change the headshot. So if we click on the headshot first, and then if you're not in images already, we can click on images on the left-hand toolbar. And let's go over to my assets where we added our headshot earlier. If you did not, no worries. You can also click on add and you can, add that straight from your computer. But again, if we go under images, my assets here, and if we click on this image first, you'll see this replace image icon appears. That will not appear if you're not clicking on anything first. But since we are clicked on that image, that replace icon appears so that I can simply click that. And it resizes right to that formatting. So I don't have to, worry about resizing it to the exact what it was. Replacing it just also replaces the formatting, which is great. It makes that easy. I'm under images in my assets. And then I clicked on that image like that I want to replace. And then at that point, as long as I'm clicking on it, that icon will appear. That's like a circle. Do you see it? And just let me know and I can come over and help too. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's like when you added it manually. I kind of brought it down. Dang it. No, that's it. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that icon right there. No. So yeah, that's a great like switch up. Yeah, definitely. And please let me know if I can help at any time throughout this. Next, I'm going to change the information at the bottom here. So either way, through typewriter or double clicking. Ooh, also fun shortcut that I use just so much. If you ever make a mistake and you want to undo, okay, yes, you can click undo on the screen. But I also like the shortcut in life, Control Z will just undo anything that you've done on the computer. So that's one of my favorites. If you're a Mac, it's Command Z. But yeah, I use that every day. So then, yeah, double clicking on it, let's update our name in here. For this information, I wish it was separated so we could utilize our assets a little better, but we can still utilize this. It just takes a little more work. So 2 ideas here. You can either double click right in this text box and, edit this information to be what your information is. Alternatively, you can delete this information, come over to text on the left-hand side, go up to my assets where we add all our information. And then alternatively, you can be adding your information this way. So I can easily grab, like my website address, The downfall is it doesn't automatically format for me. So I do have to move that around and change the font of that. But again, all these things, as long as you're doing this, either with us together today or, on your own time after class today, once you fill out like your information one time, you won't have to do it again because we can make copies of this moving forward. So even though it's a little tedious right now of adding all this information, it will, be great in the long run. And last is my website. And sorry, I'm going pretty fast through this, but clicking and dragging that text box, we can move it anywhere. Then you'll see on a text box, there's those dots on the sides of them so that we can expand that out. So, so it doesn't get into two lines like that. We can expand that into one line. And then we can change the font here at the top toolbar. And like so. Next, we'll want to also change the DBA logo in the bottom right. So I would recommend clicking on that logo again first. So anything like images or logos, I like clicking on it first. One, it should bring you right to this logo section. If it doesn't, you can click on logos. Then you'll find, so under workspace, you'll find all the KW, like the basic KW logos here. But under my assets, as long as you have the KWB logo in your marketing profile or in your assets, you can choose that replace logo icon to easily switch that out. And right underneath that logo, at least on this design, you'll see the address is displaying there for the market center. So, for also text boxes, that replace icon, that also works for text boxes. So if I click on that text box first with the market center address, and I hover over in text in my assets, I hover over, I'll see that replace text icon appears so that I can easily swap that out. Does that make sense for everyone of how you can switch that out for information? Now feel free, like this Royals Realtor, this is just a template for a placeholder for your logo. If you have a team logo, you can absolutely put this here, or you can just click on any element on your design and click backspace to delete any elements from your design. And I can give you like a couple minutes here if you want to be working on this page. I know that's a lot of things that you're changing on this page. So feel free to just take a second to fill out your information. This will be a good thing to have done. Oh, and as well, so the stock image on this page, of course, can be changed as well. So in the images section here, you'll find that you can, of course, add any images that you have on your computer, but there's also stock images right from command. Some of them you do have to pay for, some of them are free. You can filter by the free options is what I like to do to make sure that I am getting ones that I will want to use because I only want to use the free ones. And then you can start searching, for homes, neighborhood. If you want to replace this with something a little more Charlotte oriented, maybe even Charlotte will work. There's even some Charlotte options, right? I just typed in Charlotte and stock images here. And right, as long as I'm clicked on this image first, that beautiful replace icon will appear, so I can easily switch that out. So you do have access to great, ooh, I like this one better. No, this is a page that will be more evergreen. So this is going to be, well, other than the client name here, because this page right here, and I know I'm skipping, but this is breaking down their property. So this is a little more evergreen other than that client name there. I know that will always change, but. All right, and if you haven't finished this page, no worries, just maybe make a note to come back to page 2 to finish your edits here. We're going to move to page 3. And page 3 is just a nice little table of contents to walk them through what you're going to be going over today. I think that's nice to have. And of course, any of these elements can be changed. So if you find later in your business that you're adding things to your listing presentation, you can add an extra table of content item here. You can even replace this image. For the sake of the example today, I'm just going to go to the next slide, which is 4. All right, this is where we can put in the listing information for the presentation. Now, one of my favorite parts about designs in Command, like versus Canva or some other platform, is that it's actually linked to the MLS so that you can easily grab photos and information about this property to add to the listing presentation. So to do so, we're going to go to the KWLS section on the left-hand toolbar. And here we can search for our listing. So we can either do that by listing address. You can check by MLS number if you'd rather. You can search by your name if you can find that. I'm just going to use this example today. So you can search for that listing and find that listing. Make sure it's the correct one and click select to open that up. So you'll find that it first opens up with the photos once it loads. Whoops. Sorry. So if it's not populating, it was just taking a second to load here. So I just refreshed. So it pulls all the pictures right from the MLS. So that for the, this listing example, I can first click on that image, go to my listing photo and click replace with that replace icon and easily input that in. And I can even see some listing details. So next to photos, we can click on listing details and it will pull all the details from the listings as well. Now you can use the replace icon for a few things, like for example, this address. I will need to edit it a little bit, but if I click on that address first, now those replace icons appear. So I can do the replace with the property address. Inputs that right in. I don't want to have the full thing, so I'm going to double click in that text box to, delete everything but that first part of the address. And I can click out of it. Yeah. Correct. Yes, it does have to. It should pull a lot, like if it was on the market before, it should pull that information. So at least like the beds and baths and stuff like that should stay true. But good point that, yeah, typically. Right. Oh, right. Like, yeah, I wonder if that would come up. Yeah, look. I feel like it would pull just like the old info. But let me know. Right. The old pictures are in there. Well, that's you're right. I didn't think about this really in practice because I'm not really an agent. So, you know, so that's a really great point. So yeah, you might have to be grabbing some old information there, but then at least like some things like the square footage and the bass will stay true. So things like this listing info. Now, I would prefer if they more separated these like this information so that we can use this replace icon. But you'll find that, like, for example, is if I wanted to, you know, just replace it with the 3 bedrooms and I do that, well, it's only going to put a 3 in there because it's all one text box. So instead for this, I would recommend just double clicking and manually editing it and just using the listing details on the left-hand side as a great guide of quickly having that information here. So I can see, okay, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and I can see the square footage here. And I can just manually enter that in. Now, you can also from the MLS see what it last sold from. It does not pull to this section, you know, unless it's an old listing. So we can either delete this section or you can look in the MLS for that information. Same with the info down here. Now it does give like kind of a placeholder for what you could put in this section here. Now, most of this information, you would have to go do the research and find this information from the MLS, which of course would be very valuable for your presentation. For today's example, though, I'm going to just use the property address. So the property description is something that pulls from the MLS, so I can use that replace icon to input that in. All right. Moving on to the next page, so page 5, using that right-hand toolbar. So this is breaking down the neighborhood. This is a cool aspect of this KWLS section as well. So aside from listing information being able to be quickly pulled in, we can also click on snapshots. So I'm under KWLS. Then next to listings, we click on snapshots. So you can search by that listing neighborhood name. This example I picked was a bad example, but it doesn't have a neighborhood. So I can also do this by postal code. And when we search for this, quickly pulls up a nice snapshot of that area. So it's pulling all this information for you into this nice little graphic here, simply by putting in the zip code. So this graphic that I'm replacing here, I'm going to, of course, click on it first. Then I'm going to come over to my snapshot that it's created and use that replace icon to input that in so that they could get a nice snapshot of the area. Now, just a heads up, you know, it says average sold price, not like an A. So that is pulling from next door. If you like, that's where these statistics are pulling from. Sometimes this is something that you'll see because of neighborhoods and how they differ per state. Like Chicago neighborhoods are very different than than our neighborhoods here. And so sometimes it does have issues like pulling stats for specific neighborhoods. I'm kind of glad this happened because I can kind of show you a workaround to this. If you do see an NA here and you kind of want to hide it, so you just like don't want this to appear because it's not helpful in any way, we can do a workaround by using this the shapes on the top of the page here. You can go ahead and grab a rectangle. What we're doing here, we're trying to cover this up. Once we add that in, you'll see those dots appear on the corners as well as the sides. So you'll see the sides will move that in. The corners will make it smaller. right? We want to hide that, cover that up. Then we can change the fill color of this. Well, that's good. How do I see this? Is this, well, does that happen to you if you click on a box and it just hides the colors, I guess? Maybe it's an update right now, but I'm gonna click that to do the black color. Right, so then that just hides that in A. And then of course we can change the other things on this page. So Barton Hills is the placeholder for the neighborhood name. So we can double click in there, change that to the neighborhood name they actually live in, or if you're doing the zip code, for example, we can put that in. Additionally, it says in this paragraph, this is another paragraph you would have to change because it does use Barton Hills again. You can always change that with the neighborhood that you are targeting, or you can purely delete this element by clicking on it and clicking backspace to delete it. This little section here is another section that you would have to research and find this information from the MLS. Stuff like average list prices have increased by X percentage. You know, these are great value to have in your listing presentation, but just more so being aware that you need to change this out anytime that you have a new presentation, I would make note of. Then the stuff on the bottom can stay. I like it, but of course you can always update this information to, you know, fit the times, or if you're seeing anything else that comes up or that would fit this listing in particular. All right. Next is the comparable properties. So again, this is more something, right, that you would look up in the MLS. You would, for your CMA, you would see what other properties there are in that area and what you can compare it with. But here I'm just going to point out again the KWLS section and listings. You can find all those listings here so that you can easily grab those pictures and that information to switch those out. So, you know, working with the MLS and with this section here. So finding those properties and then looking for their information, photos and everything, so you can easily add that in here. So again, make a note that this is one of those pages you do have to edit for each presentation. But then now from page 6 through like 16, you really don't have to change any of the information if you don't want to. And I'll kind of like breeze through what this is. But your needs come first kind of deal, you know, asking those questions of why it's important to you. How can I make this happen? Really making the client your priority is this page's purpose. Next, page 8, the process. Again, any of this can be edited. So, you know, if you find that in step 3, you do something a little different, double clicking in that box and start typing what you do in your business, you can edit that. But I kind of like this too as like kind of a guide of what you should be doing into your process.
I have a question about
So having a nice
5.
printable process guide for your client. Page 9, your custom marketing plan. Again, nothing really has to be changed here. This is all good information. This is a draft from 2018. I think, you know, it probably changed a little bit, but really not too much from what I've seen. This graph stays true to today, like 2023. A lot of buyers find their home on the internet. It shows what you can provide them marketing wise. So really, this is highlighting what you can actually do in Command. So if you ever have a question on any of these items that you're seeing, hey, wow, I can do this from Command, book an appointment with us and we can show you exactly how to do it. So all these things can be found in command, including this, your media plan. So, you feel free to edit this how you wish. But these are all things that can be accomplished in command. For example, just listed postcard. In command, you can draw around a neighborhood that you're trying to hit and send postcards directly to their door. So command has such the capability to do all of this. Book an appointment, we can walk you through it all. If you ever want to delete anything, from these plans, just an extra tip here. If you click and drag on the outside and highlight over all the things that you want to delete, you can do that in a bigger bulk. So you don't have to do that one by one. So again, clicking outside of the design and dragging will select a big group. And then we can click backspace, for example, if you wanted to delete things in bulk. Moving right along, page 13. Strategic promotion. So this walks through a checklist of all the things you'll be doing for coming soon for just listed. Open house strategy. And I know I'm going really fast through this. I'd recommend taking a look at this, of course, before presenting it. It's in the details. It just breaks down your marketing a bit more. And these are mostly things that you already provide anyway, but just presents it in a very marketing way, which is very nice to have that content available. All right, page 16. So you can use page 16 and or page 17. So just so you know what these pages are, these are both your kind of like your resume, breaking down your past business experiences, your numbers and your information here. So, if your business has been around for a while, this might be a good page for you so that you can input those numbers here. I will note those, the changing of the numbers, those big numbers need to be changed, as well as there's a percentage here for repeat clients, and the clients served year needs to be changed to 2023. But if you're also, not in business very long, so you don't want to maybe display those numbers, you can also display Keller Williams numbers or the market centers numbers as these numbers instead. I talked to Lynn and she said that you could find those numbers in the MLS. Does anyone know where you could find those, as a mastermind session? Darn it, I was asking you. Oh. Okay. Okay, I'll. Sure not. Okay, I'll talk to Liz too to see if I can find more information on that. I wasn't sure exactly in the MLS, but yeah, Lynn said that you can pull the market centers numbers there. So that might be a good spot. And again, I'll verify where is the best place and how to find those. Because then you can use the market center numbers for these numbers here and inputting those instead. This is the number there, and then it's the percentage higher than the market average, and the market average also stays. So page 16 and 17 would need to be updated with those numbers, maybe making a note to be on the lookout for that intranet email to update this page. These are credentials and awards for KW. So these are a nice resume for Keller Williams and why this is such a reputable firm. You can also input your own awards if you have any or credentials like that. That might be a good thing to add here as well. '19 just goes through our what is that called? The 7 things. Win-win, integrity, customers always come first. Oh yeah, our nice KW slogan there. Next, you have your portfolio of excellence. So this could be any of your past listings that you want to showcase for them to see. Now, for this page, there are two like formats. So if you have like, if you want to display more versus display 3 at a time is kind of the difference here. So really actually just picking the one that you want to utilize. I'm probably going to delete the 6th one. So again, by clicking those 3 dots and clicking delete, I can remove any page I do not want in this presentation. And then I can put in my sold listings here. So again, utilizing that KWLS section to easily pull up your past sales, you can search for yourself. There we go. So I can pull in all of those listings right up just by searching by name. So if you need to pull in your sold listings, and you can select which ones even that you want to display here. I can click select on any of the ones I want to display, and then kind of do those same steps from the comparative properties. So for the image, we can replace that very easily. For images, you know, like it should auto crop like it did right there. If it ever, you want to ever adjust that, double clicking on the image, you can change the crop. And then clicking done on the top of the page, we'll get that to save. For this information on the right-hand side, I would recommend just pulling the listing details up so that you could easily like type that in. But I wouldn't recommend doing the replace icon because it would replace everything in that box. I can see the property address. I can see the bedrooms and the bathrooms. And the square footage. All right. Oh, where's the list first? 4, 4, 5. And then the information at the bottom should be, you know, based off your listing deal. So this is a page 2 that, you know, once you find a few listings that you like to display, you can kind of keep that moving forward for listing presentations. Next, same kind of deal. These are going to be featured listings. You know, if you do have any active listings, you want to present them, you can, and I would recommend utilizing, you know, the KWLS section if you do so. But you can also click to delete this page as well if that does not pertain to you. Yeah. Next are going to be your testimonials. So this brings up a question of, you know, where are you keeping your testimonials, where you're collecting them? Now, the KW websites do have a spot for that to be collected as long as you reach out to support@scottleroymarketing.com. So 2 things they can do for you. One, if you do not have the leave a review page already on your site, they can add a leave a review page to your website so that you can be getting testimonials on your site. And if you would like, if they're like sitting somewhere else, if they're like on Zillow or Google and you want them on your website, Scott Leroy Marketing can also display up to 12 testimonials on your site. So you can only display 12 testimonials at a time on your website, but Scott Leroy can do, like, as long as you send them the list of who you want to display there, they can add them all to your website and get those to display. So if you have not reached out to support@scottleroymarketing.com, I'd recommend asking them to add all the available pages to your website. They'll know what that means. They can add up to 8 pages at a time, or 8 pages in general. Things like a mortgage calculator. And this is all for free that they can do this. They can add a mortgage calculator, a local school search, things like that to your website to really make that a tool for your clients. And again, they can do this all for free. So all they need is your command login. And the subject can just be add all available pages, and they know exactly what that means. And they can add all these pages as well as that testimonial capture form. So they can add that all in. When someone fills out a testimonial on your website, unfortunately, it does not auto display. You will get a notification that someone submitted a testimonial. At that time, you can just reach out to, again, support at Scott Leroy Marketing, and they can make that display. But just for your knowledge, just note that it doesn't automatically do it. You'll just receive a notification and make a mental note that, okay, now I need to go reach out to Scott Leroy. They'll display it. But wherever your testimonials are displaying, let's say mine's on my website, you can also grab these from, Google, wherever that may be. For that listing or for the testimonial page, we can copy that testimonial. Hopefully it's longer than this, than just great work. Then we can come back to our listing presentation. I can do Control A if I want to select everything in that box, so all the text, or you can just highlight that. And then you can paste that in, right click and paste. Well, you'll want to just change the contact information at the bottom there as well. But displaying 3 testimonials so that you can display those in your listing presentation. All right. So the next page is a promise. So this is just setting expectations. It's a nice, cute little page there. Then page 23. This is like COVID related. So if, it doesn't as much pertain anymore, you can delete this page, same steps here, or you can keep it, based off your business. The bottom line, and I think like a promise and the bottom line is pretty similar. So if you wanted to combine those pages, I think that's totally doable, or you can keep them. I think they're both nice. And we're at the ending here. All right, next is the app. So there is a spot to change your app URL here. So if you would like to click on that like text box there, go over to our text, my assets. And if you did add in your app URL earlier, we can replace that now with that link. If you need to know how to find your app URL again, just let me know. I can point that out. Go ahead and add that in at the bottom of the page where it says ready to download your app. And then the last page, page 25, will be your contact information. We can manually type that in by double clicking, or again, we can utilize what's in our assets to make that a little easier. And sorry for those, what if the neighborhood doesn't show up in snaps? Good question. So if the neighborhood doesn't show up, I'd recommend searching that by zip code and see if that shows up instead for the market snaps if you don't find that neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
And I know we're at the end of class today. So if you have training or anything else, feel free, but I can also, I can stick around for 30 minutes to answer any questions that you may have, as well as go over the app since we kind of discussed that. I'll be going over the app, but feel free to stay if you have any other questions for the 2 to 2:30 workshop or open tech hours. But that is all in regards to listing presentations. Oh, most importantly, you can order to print from this section here. So once you're done making all those, changes to it, You can order from this section right here, or you can also take this file, you can download it, and you can also take it to Vistaprint or wherever you get your printing done. I would recommend, if you're going to download it and take it to a vendor, when you click download, it's going to default by PDF standard. I'd recommend to change that to PDF for printing so that it's more high quality. Luckily, these command templates all fit within the bleed marks that printers typically have. It's a 1/4 inch bleed. So you should have no problems there. Clicking download will download all those pages, so you can give that file to your printer and they can print that out that way as well. The order print button in the top right, that will get mailed here, and it takes like 14 business. So it's a longer turnaround if you do it through command. So, I mean, I would maybe recommend having like a printer ready to go. You can also print, from our printers here as well as another option. So if you do that option as well, I would recommend downloading that again as PDF for printing. It's a higher quality that way. And the last thing I'll just quickly say is that now, since we've edited that under designs, so again, in the design section, you'll see that your listing presentation, it auto saves. So any changes we're making today, it auto saved all the changes you made. So you don't have to worry about saving. And you can easily pull that up right here. So this is a draft of that, so that I can edit that further or download it if I need. If I hover over it, I'll see 3 dots. So I could also make a copy. So, at the next listing presentation, if I just need to change those few pages, I can just click make a copy. And all my contact information, everything that stays evergreen will stay. And I'll know to go change those few pages with the listing information and stuff like that. So then you can reutilize your listing presentation for your business furthermore. So yeah, that is listing presentations. Thank you so much for coming. If you have any questions at all, and if you want to do this together, we can book an appointment and we can sit down and do this together as well. So you don't have to feel like you have to do this by yourself. We're here and happy to help. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're typically like a week booked out. So especially like new agents, like we'll have because we'll have a few sessions, like we can book an appointment like a week out. And then at our next session, we typically like book out weeks in advance just to get your technology where it needs to be. So like we'll first start with your contacts is typically where we start. And then from there, we talk about like smart plans are the best way to start implementing that tech. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I don't know. I don't have access to Canopy. So I don't know anything much with the MLS, but your coach might. Is that mom? Okay, or mom. Yeah, I think she'll know, but let me know if she doesn't, because that seems like a techie side of the MLS. So she might not know. Okay, thanks. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So yeah, you can find your app URL in the consumer section. So it's going to be that last icon. Then we're going to go to site and app settings. And then URLs. So consumer, site and app settings in the top right. Then URLs near the middle of the page more. And then you can copy from there. Now, in regards to like sharing, like I know like that's for like the listing presentation, but in regards to like sharing your app URL, I may recommend doing that. So there's a couple ways you can do it, but I may recommend doing it from your command app. So there are 2 apps with KW. One is the KW command app, and that's a red app with a white KW. And then the second app is KW buy and sell, and that's a white app with a red KW. They look way too similar. And the difference between those is the command app will be the mobile version of command. So that's like where you can see all your contacts, all your upcoming tasks and things like that. Your notifications will come here. The other app, which is the consumer app, that will allow your clients to search for homes on the go. So they can see based off their current location, they can see all the homes around us, like their price points, they can pull out all the information. It actually pulls quicker than Zillow. It pulls from the MLS within an hour. So it's actually more up-to-date stats than Zillow is. But this is the app for consumers to be searching for homes on the go. Now, I would recommend sharing your app from your, so sharing your consumer app from your command app. And I know it's a lot of apps. So in your command app, and this is how that looks. And if it prompts you with a login for the command one, it's your command login like normal. And clicking on your name at the top will give you a couple extra options. Yeah, one of them is the My Business Card. This is a newer feature, but this QR code, and let me know if anyone needs help getting here, will allow clients to scan your information right to their phone very easily. Yeah, no worries. So this is the command app, which is the red one. Absolutely, thanks, Michael. And then you may have to sign in with your command login. Oh, awesome. Then we're going to click your name at the top. It's hiding a few extra options there. Yeah, My Business Card, that's pulling right from that marketing profile that we took a look at the beginning of class. But yeah, scanning it, or like when clients scan it, that in just to show you if you have it pulled up. If they scan, this is how that will display so that they can easily click create new contact, and it saves all your information right away. So they don't have to manually type that in. But even, but actually what I was going for was under that same option there is the share my KW app link. Why it's important to do it this way. And when you click that, you'll see you can do that as a text message, email. This will share it branded to you, so they don't have to search for another agent. Like when they get that consumer app and they're able to search for homes, when they look at a listing detail, it will say contact your agent, and you will be that agent. So this will share it branded to you, if that makes sense. Yeah, that KW consumer app though is a great thing to be sharing with your clients, even out of state. So it allows you to search the entire country of all listings in any brokerage. So even if you have like out of state contacts and you want maybe a referral fee, this is like, you can share this of value and say that they can be searching for homes around them. I also like in this consumer app, so right this bottom toolbar here, if you go to guide, oh, I have to log in. Just a heads up for the consumer app. Again, that's a white app that you can search for homes. It will prompt you to sign up or log in. You do not have a login as an agent, but you can click to sign up to sign up and pretending like you're a contact so you can see what they're seeing. But when it prompts you for a login, you do not have one as an agent. Same deal with your website. So this is your KW website. You'll see log in and sign up at the top there. That is not for you to log in or sign up. That is for your clients to sign up on your website so they can favorite properties, create collections. And what's great about either if they sign up on the app or on the website, their lead information will automatically go right into command. So their contact information will go right into your CRM. And I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But yes. Oh, and you'll be able to see what they're favoriting on their timeline. So you can see, if they're searching on your site and they're favoriting a bunch of townhomes, you can be like, hey, let me send you more townhomes. I don't know. Yeah, which is a great script to be telling your contacts, because it really is. So that makes it really valuable of a app. Yeah. Right? I do the same thing. Anytime I go on vacation, I pull up the app because I'm just like interested. I'm like, let's see what I can get here. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Any questions? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make an appointment and I know it's like a lot of information out the gate. It's a lot of overwhelmingness about command just because there's so much it can do, which is the double-edged sword, right? Like it's so much it can do, but so much to learn. So we can just by meeting tell you what's the best to start implementing first, because you don't have to start implementing everything command can do. We can just, break it down for you. But yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know. Yeah. Yeah, my finger. Feel famous when I do it. Absolutely.
So when you do your like Ignite classes before, basically when you get into like productivity coach, so they could start assigning you leads, you have to finish basically all these classes first. And so Tech Tuesday is one of the ones that's on there as well.
I thought that's the wrong one,
That's
but
okay.
I'm going, but that's okay. I
Why?
teach that one too.
Cool. All right. Well,
That one's the first Wednesday of every month.
first one say.
Yeah.
I need to do that one, but I will.
Okay, sounds good. Well, too, if you book an appointment with us, that should work too. Yeah, definitely. And I'll stick around for like 15 more minutes. If you have any other questions on anything in command, I can answer anything. But if not, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and thanks for coming. Yeah, this was kind of a niche class, like it was very much on one topic. But each Tech Tuesday we break down just like a different thing about command. And yeah, booking with us will.
Yeah, also, I want to say, I don't want to.
Right.
I want to give it like,
Absolutely. Well,
literally this one.
wow. So you're just brand new.
Yesterday was my first day on.
Wow. Are you overwhelmed right now or are you doing okay? Oh, good.
I got a meeting to find out, so.
Holy cow. Well, good luck.
I
That's
parked out
awesome.
in the area, and
Gotcha.
she was like, I'm pre-approved for 550,000. Come and get mine. I said, "All right."
Okay. Yeah. Running. Yeah, I can find it.
We'll start and Ignite tomorrow, so I know I'm late, but.
Oh, nice. Ignite will be great. I've heard just such great things about Ignite. Well, I have also heard that's overwhelming too, but you learn a lot.
That's, right now I just gotta learn.
Yeah, you're right. That's the mindset too, to go at it like ready to learn.
Just learn and
Right.
then I'm not gonna remember everything. I'll learning as it goes.
Definitely.
Well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hope you have a great day. Hey.
So people have something for you to sign in or anybody to sign us for the form that I forget to.
Are you in Ignite? I think so. I think he just got this. Yeah. I often sign this. Oops. Sorry. So I've seen this Ignite graduation checklist before. And then this is what I typically sign. This is what I do like sign. Do you want to sign? Okay. Because
I've been 2 times.
Okay.
But I'm coming tomorrow.
Oh,
There's
nice.
certain ones that I want here.
Ooh. I think you're like the like I don't.
First one. I wanted to but today, but there's certain things I know I need to know first.
Right.
You say so much stuff.
Right. So much.
So in order for me to understand and know where to go to class, like you did today,
Mhm.
then motivation, I
Right.
get that part.
Right.
But without this, I can't use the motivation to put out where to connect things.
Yeah, I think that like I don't know when this is like I'm not sure exactly how like needed this is for graduate. Like I don't know Ignite very well. I've heard great things about Ignite just because it's so much like great knowledge. These are the two things I typically fill out. So like even if you wanted to just or like didn't you came to orientation? I thought yeah, I thought so. That was the first of the month. Or the first Wednesday. Okay. So I'm not sure, like, I don't, if there's like a or Ignite leader, but like, I'm sure they'd be able to like just fill out the ones you've been on. That shouldn't be a problem.
I was at that point.
Oh, that orientation,
Yeah, I wasn't at that one,
KW Tech one.
but I need to do this.
Okay, that is on the first Wednesday of every month. So let's see what this next one is. Yeah. The second. Oh, okay. Oh, luckily I didn't input.
So, what we did today,
Mhm.
this presentation, this example that you gave, that's just for us, that we got a listing.
It's-
How to present.
The seller. So like if they're trying to choose between like you and another agent and you're trying to get that listing, you could bring them this listing presentation as a real overview of something they can actually take home after their meeting too, of all the ways that you can help them, hopefully to pull them to your side of
Oh,
picking you.
and that could be a call someone that we don't do that way.
Yeah, right. So yeah, even if you're not competing against another agent for a listing, just sending them this information really just shows that you're an expert. It's kind of like a resume, like of sorts to show that you're an expert and that you'll do a good job selling their house. So that's kind of the value add there. And into like kind of you can utilize that listing presentation how you see fit, if you don't want to be like editing it every time, even if it was just those pages that kind of stay evergreen with your credentials, that's just nice to have as so they can trust you. So yeah, that's the idea there. And if you have any questions, if you're working on that anytime, feel free to book an appointment. We can do it together.
I'll put it tomorrow.
Cool.
Tomorrow for something else. Put my email from my phone into something, from my hand or my phone, so I can make contact.
Yes, I know exactly. Yeah, we'll get your contacts in there and then we'll start automating your system so that you can be reminded of what you have to do instead of knowing what to do all times, which can be overwhelming in itself. So like we'll get your contacts in there and then our next step is typically to set up systems. So whether that be a quarterly call system, so you know who to call today or stuff like that. It's really just
And then I put the items.
yeah, we can help with we can definitely get your contacts in within like minutes. It's a really easy process now.
I don't need everybody's phone. What I
Gotcha.
did, I just put my phone in the list,
Okay,
and I got their email address. but I
okay.
didn't get their home address.
Now, is this on like a note or did you enter it into the contact record?
It's online, it's on there.
Okay. So, oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. So, I mean, so you can absolutely add it once they're in command. So that's an option, or you can do it in your phone. So if you were to take that notepad and like go through your contacts and add it to the contact record, when we import the contacts, those would just import in. Or, we can import the contacts and then later you can add those in. We can, or you can select. Okay, so like, yeah, let me just like show you what that kind of looks like. So like in the command app under contacts, if we go up to import contacts here. So we can select all, but then like I can also go through and like deselect anyone I don't want, which depending on how many contacts you don't want might be a little of a process. But even just getting an idea, like, I mean, we can even just select who we want to, So it definitely doesn't have to be all.
Okay, yeah, because some of them are relatives of somebody else that I don't have their phone number for,
Gotcha.
but I got the information.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and I didn't know if it was easy, if I didn't didn't use my phone to import. Is there a place where you just enter as it is?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, you could do that. It's just this makes it a little easier to do that. You're right. If you wanted to, you could do it on a spreadsheet. So if you are you comfortable with Excel?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to like have like a name, phone, email, and just do it all in Excel, Scott Leroy can import 5 spreadsheets per month for you for free.
Okay.
So you can do it on a spreadsheet, or you can do it like one contact at a time. I may not.
What am I really putting this in my phone? Man, my phone, and
Command, like that's the main spot that we're really trying to get your contacts in. because command is like where you can set up like automated emails and automated text messages and automated reminders and stuff.
Will I be in control?
Absolutely. Yeah, when we add them to command, nothing gets sent to them at all. Like nothing happens, but kind of just centralizes them in all place for you, in one place for you. And then once they're in there, it just really gives you the opportunity to do that. Nothing, yeah, has to be sent. You can absolutely choose who gets sent what, and you'll be very much in control of that.
Okay, well, I will, the ones that have been cell phones. I'm going to. And then you can select the ones that want to use.
Yes, and I love that game plan. I know contacts is typically the most tedious, it's just so tedious of a task, but it really does have like one of the biggest impacts because once it's done, then you can really start automating these touches so that you don't have to be manually doing so much, which is huge.
All right, cool.
We have a game plan and we'll get it going. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks. And thanks for those of you who came online. See you next time.